everyone. Welcome to this new episode of our Student Spotlight series, where we're able to showcase some of the work our students have been doing. I'm Charlotte. I'm the outreach coordinator here at CCIR, and it's our pleasure today to have Michael with us, who did one of our Future Scholars Program courses. So to start off with, can you just give us a little introduction? So tell us who you are, where you're from, what year you are in school, and then what your academic interests are.
Yes, thank you. Hi, I'm Michael Wei, and I come from Nanjing, China. I'm right now in the 11th grade, and I've been exploring various fields in physics, such as the classical mechanics and astrophysics. I took a course in the data-driven astronomy from the Dr. Daniel Monsieur Trishner, if I remember right. The course basically separates into two parts. In the first 2 weeks, the professor guides us through the basic of the astronomy, his history and something about redshifts. And then the program shifted more to about computer science. He teaches us to use the custom packages and how to build a machine learning model or a neural network model. Yeah.
And then what made you seek out CCIR to pursue this interest in astronomy?
Actually, I think firstly, I think that the astrophysics is really interesting because it covers both astronomy and physics, and I astronomy is really and mysterious stuff, and I learned something about physics, so I want to learn something about astrophysics. And when I one day I was searching the website, I just found that CCIR is a famous or research center. So I just wanted to find if there's any suitable courses. So I just joined the Future Scholar program. Yeah.
That's great. And then did you have any experience with physics or astronomy before you took this course?
Yes, I actually did have some knowledge about physics, and I've studied quite a bit, uh but about the computer science, which the course also majored on, I actually have not that much experience. I did know some basic Python grammar, but the program taught us about those advanced things. So actually, I got no idea at first. Yeah.
Great. And then so we'll talk a little bit about your research project. So can you tell us what the title of your research paper was, and then in general what it was about?
So my research topic is about the classification of stars, quasars, and galaxies using the machine learning techniques. So basically, it's just as the topic is just use some information photometric information or the redshift to separate celestial bodies into three parts: the stars, quasars, and the galaxies. Yeah.
And then how did you decide on this topic?
Actually, first of all, it's quite a basic problem in astronomy because if you want to study on one stuff, for example star, you have to know at least which bodies are the stars, right? So yeah, actually it's a really basic problem. And secondly, like when I was young, I liked to watching laying on the grass, watching the sky, and I actually wanted to know what are those things shining on the sky. So I think that it should be an interesting topic. Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound interesting. And then can you talk us through your research methods and process? So tell us what type of research you conducted, and then how was the process of finding data?
So it's just that you first write a code and you just put your results into in an essay. So the first thing is to like set up your code. The code like is aimed to separate stuff into these three categories using the information. So it's probably the hardest and the most time-consuming part. Because first of all, like you need to get your data, and there are many ways. I searched the internet and I chose to use the SCSS and the Gaia dataset because like they provide both photometric information and the redshift information. And then like you have to decide like which method you use to deal with these data. Of course, like we use machine learning, but there are several different small stuff or like in the machine learning part. So the professor suggested to use the random forest model, but I've also like tried to use others like the KNN or the SVM. And yeah, so that like just comparing these methods, you can get a better result or improve your accuracy. Yeah.
And have you had experience using these research methods before this course?
No, absolutely not, because like they are advanced packages and I get no ideas of them before. Yeah.
And how was that doing this research project with these methods that you hadn't used before? Like, what was your experience like?
So it's like basically the professor will like first taught us how like to use these packages. For example, like if you want to build a classifier, like which packages you need to import and which functions you need to use. And then he'll give us like an example and we will just follow that example. And also if you when I had some problems, I'll just Google it. Yeah, Google always helps. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then can you tell us what your findings of your research were and kind of in general layman's terms, what the importance of your findings was?
Like I think like the most creative part or the most important part is the feature selection in my in my research because you know the machine learning methods are just like general, they are like basically the same. However, there's an important thing to do is to choose the feature. And when you like ask the GPT, he'll say that you need to do the feature selection, but he'll not tell you which features are the best. So after I tried like several days to like gather the best feature, and one day like when I was trying to separate stars into smaller categories, I like draw the Russell diagram, and surprisingly, like these categories are just clustered together, and there seemed to be a clear boundary between each category. So I found that the luminosity like might acted as a great features, and I added into the training model, and then the accuracy actually like improved by 1%, and I think it's like really good. Yeah.
And are you able to explain kind of did this shift your perspectives that you had prior to the research project, or do you think it would change anything about the way that the general person looks at astronomy?
Well, I think probably because like using this method, it's like um it's another feature. So yeah, it's like when you are doing a traditional way, and you might ignore those stuff, and therefore, um, like a feature search of other features. I don't know. That might be helpful.
That's great. And then did you have any experience yet with the publication process?
Yes, I'm actually doing so. I'm working with the CCIR academics, and I try to publish my essays at some undergraduate conference and journals, such as the MIT Undergraduate Conference or the Columbia Junior Science Journal. But actually, they haven't started their enrollment in 2024. Yeah. So I've started working with it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're waiting to submit to somewhere, is that right?
Yeah, and there's like other conference which has already opened, and I asked the CCR academics, and they gave me valuable advice and give me like the opportunities I might be able to publish my stuff. Yeah.
So, just for everyone watching, the publication process is something that is really important for a lot of students and something they're really interested about. So, can you just tell us, like, what your experience has been like so far, both how your mentor has helped with the publication process and if you've utilized the Writing Center or the publication team to help with that process as well?
So it's like basically when I like finished my first draft of the essay, I just sent it to my mentors and CCR academics, and if for example they just gave me valuable advice on the like science writing part, because it's my first time to write a science essay, and there's like might be things I ignored. And then there's the publication part. It's actually I didn't know like what are what are the conference or the journals you might be able to submit, and like what are the journals that is related to my topic. So I just asked the CCR academics, and like they just sent me an email with a list of the collection of the opportunities or the conference that I might be able to submit to. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. And then now we're going to just switch a little bit to talk about kind of your general experience with CCIR. So firstly, can you just tell us what your experience was like in the program and doing a high-level research project like this as a high school student?
Actually, I think it's like a pretty interesting uh, to do, because first of all, I haven't like had such experience before, like to do a research, because that is like pretty different. You have to like search through the Google Scholar to like learn more about the your specific topics, and like you need to like get a general insight and to decide what you are gonna like focus on. So um, also I asked my professors and teaching assistants for like some advice, and they're really helpful too. Yeah.
Great. And then, how would you compare your learning experience in this course or with the research process in general? How would you compare that with courses or projects that you've done in high school?
Well, actually, they're like pretty different, because like in the high school class, your teacher just like they had already done the like they have already had the books or the things they need to taught to, and you also have the exams. And the research stuff is pretty different, because first of all, I think that the professor, uh, although he does have some like preferred things to taught, he also like will adjust the teaching uh to us, like our requirements. And also like the course is also different, is that you like finally you will come up with some of your own innovations, and when you're studying high school, they're just you just learn something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I think you touched on an important point that the mentors are really there to just guide the students rather than teaching what their own curriculums are. So it really puts you kind of in the front seat or gives you the power to delve into whatever topics you find the most interesting. So with that, we also just really like to emphasize the aspect of mentorship in our programs and just this general kind of teaching style. So can you tell us about how your experience with your mentor and also with your TA, how they help transition you through the first teaching half of the course into the second more research-oriented part of the course?
I think that like my professor and teaching assistants are like brilliant. They create like a comfortable atmosphere and like all my classmates are energetic and easygoing. Like one of the most impressive parts is like the opening part. Our professor asked a question like, "What is your favorite way to eat a potato?" As a really impressive and surprising way to start or as an opening. And then I think that first at the first half, the professor just like uh, led us into the research field because like he just gave us like some introduction to the field, and then we'll just do the field research on our own. And then to the second half, the lectures like more about our own research. So like uh, besides teaching the class of machine learning or like neural network, he'll just like also spare some time or like half or even more of the lecture's time to discuss the problems of our research. And I think that's pretty helpful because whenever we have got problems, we can just email him or ask him on the class. Yeah.
That's great. And then you mentioned the other students in your course. So can you tell us like what it was like working with other students? They were probably from a few different countries. Can you just tell us what that was like?
Actually, I'm pretty nervous at first because I'm the only one which is not from America. And I'm pretty nervous that if I can like speak fluently in English. But anyway, they're like pretty outgoing and energetic, and they just asked brilliant questions in class. And after like I interacted with them, I just more confident about myself because it's like pretty um a good relationship. Anyways, yeah.
That's great. And then just a last few questions. Has this course given you any insights into your future, do you think? Has it informed or maybe shaped how you think of your path moving forward?
Yes, definitely. Because first, at first, I thought that I was gonna do something about physics because I already done a lot of study on it. But after the course, I found that the astrophysics or the astronomy are like really surprising and they're like intriguing because um like I haven't thought about astronomy before because I got limited access to it in China. But after like having this course, I thought I'm probably gonna do something about astrophysics in the future. Yeah.
That's great. And then, okay, the last question, what would you say to someone who asked you what the value of doing a project or a program like this is, especially for a high school student?
I think that this experience is like really valuable because first you might know where your interests lie, and although you might even although you might not know, but actually it's just an experience that might help you decide what you might be major on and like in the college. And also it's provides like a valuable experience of the research. You just got an idea of like what might life be like in the college or like in the future. So yeah, they're like pretty valuable.
That's great advice, I think. So thanks so much for chatting with me and congratulations again on your nomination to our Spotlight series.
Thank you.